To my American brothers and sisters, you need new metal for your 4th of July weekend parties, and I'm bringing you my 5 new favorites. And if you're not American, party with us! Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, John Barbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's album art of the week. It's the weekend. That means we got new metal albums to talk about, and I'm bringing you my 5 favorite. But as always, before we do the top 5, I always talk about the big major label album releases, so let's get it. Y'all, there are still new bands coming out, making it big with glam metal. This is Kissin' Dynamite back with a bang. And there's a new record from Visions of Atlantis, Pirates 2. If you want some pirate-themed power metal without some of the sketchiness, get this one. And speaking of big-time power metal acts, there's a new record from Orden Ogden called The Order of Fear. If you like powerful, big-time, triumphant power metal, there you go. And lastly, before we jump into the top 5, there's a new record from Vulvodynia Into Benny, technical deathcore. Now this is more my speed. This one crushes. Now let's do the top 5. Coming in at number 5, Parthalune with The Ocean Pours In, sludgy post-metal out of Ireland. I like this one because it's angry, but the guitars not so angry. The guitars have those nice post-metal textures with all these haunting melodies, but the shouting is angry. Oh, yeah. Coming in at number 4, get ready, nerds. This is Isle of the Cross with Faustus the Musical, symphonic technical death metal out of California. And that album title is correct. It is indeed a musical, super nerdy compositions with like spoken word storytelling going on about crazy wizards and powerful gods. I loved it. Coming in at number 3, Yamada with Under the Shadow of a Foreign Sun, progressive death metal out of Brazil. And I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly. Text is on the screen just in case. And as always, every band's Bandcamp links will be in the description so that these albums are easy to find. Do you like Opeth? Because this band sounds a whole lot like early Opeth, which means I love it. Only this is a little bit less folky, a little bit more spacey, but just as brutal. Coming in at number 2, Fearmonger with Horrific Forms. This is hardcore crossing over with death metal out of Finland. And this is right up my alley. It's got the hardcore vocals, but the riffs, got those death metal riffs with quite a bit of grindcore influences in there too. This one is a head bobber. And hey, before we do number 1, I need to give y'all a little update. Some of y'all got something cool. Let me tell you, so Fourth Wall, the company that I use to do my merch, they've emailed me and said that there was a bug in the system. So I don't know if you've ever had shirts made before at your local print shop, but when you do, the more stuff you put on the shirt. If you do it front and back, it costs more. If you have more colors, it costs more. If you have print on the sleeve, it costs more. The more simple you can make it, the cheaper. And I was pretty surprised when I was designing the initial merch run that I could put something on the front and the back and the sleeves and the cost didn't change. Yeah, that was the bug in the system. Fourth Wall emailed me and was like, yo, we weren't charging you enough. We're going to leave what happened in the past, but from now on, we got to charge you the right amount. And it automatically raised the base cost, which automatically raised my prices. I didn't even do it. Matter of fact, I went in manually after the fact and lowered them a little bit more. But those of you who have already gotten a long sleeve and a hoodie, y'all got it on the cheap. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And don't forget, we've got the summer collection going on with the collaboration with the artist Nocturno, the Summer Brew t-shirts and tank tops and muscle shirts, only available during the summer. It will end in September. johnbarbas-shop.fourthwall.com. Thank you so much. Now let's do number 1. Coming in at number 1, Octoploid, Beyond the Aeons, progressive death metal out of Finland. And if you like 70s prog, and you like death metal, first of all, you're a friend of mine. Second of all, you'll love this album because the music in the background is that thick 70s prog, real spacey with classical, like pentatonic, screaming guitar solos. It's got death growls on it. You know, if it's progressive and heavy, I'm gonna love it. And we're not done yet because we still got a fun dealer's choice and the album art of the week. All right, for this week's dealer's choice, this segment is once again coming in clutch because the format of the show, I only do full albums. I don't do singles, I don't do EPs. This is the best new metal album show. But dealer's choice allows me to break the rules a little bit. So I love this new EP from Primitive Dread out of North Macedonia, Merciless Indifference. This is some heavy, hardcore thrash with that stank groove that gets your head going. Put your lip up in the air and do the horns because this one rules. Now let's do my favorite album art. My favorite album art this week comes from Wormed, Omegon, brutal, technical death metal out of Spain. I got my hands on this one early. Y'all know what that means. My written review is already published in Metal Digest. Links in the description to all my writings. Look at this album art. As soon as I saw this, I thought Fear Factory. And I listened to the record, and it doesn't sound anything like Fear Factory. This is brutal technical death metal, but it does have those themes of oppression by machines and cold automation. And what I like about the music in this one too is, yeah, you know what to expect with brutal death metal, but this one's got nuance. They do peaks and valleys. There's even clean sections. The arrangements are a bit different, but then it still has that staccato, beat you over the head crushingness as well. And also, when I first saw this album art, my first instinct was like, oh man, please don't be AI. So I actually looked it up this time because the AI has fooled me a couple of times. Not AI. One of the members of the band actually made this, so that's awesome. And speaking of awesome death metal, I've been saying for years now that we are living in a death metal renaissance. It's the best time ever to be a death metal fan, but don't just take my word for it. I asked the opinion of one of the vanguard of that movement, Tombstoner, what they think about the latest crop of awesome death metal bands. It was a really fun podcast.
Especially the death metal and hardcore bands playing together too. Like, I mean, you're older than me, but I don't know.
What a
like,
dick.
In the 90s, I didn't mean it that way. Be quiet. Like in the 90s and stuff like that, it'd be like, I don't know if I'm correct, but it'd be like frowned upon for like death metal and hardcore bands playing together.
If you want to check that out, just click right here. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I